har det videre omkring semesterprojekter, hvor vi får lov at samarbejde med erhvervet. Og det synes jeg er super fedt, fordi
Kolding er en helt fantastisk campus. Der foregår en masse spændende ting inden for design, entreprenørskab, relationsledelse, IT og kommunikation. Og så er det så heldigt, at det er til huse her i den her smukke trekantige bygning, som er designet af Larsen Arkitekt. Vi ligger i hjertet af Kolding og har et fantastisk samarbejde med Kolding Kommune og Kolding.
Jo. Okay. Welcome to EHEF Indonesia 2020 Goes Online. This is University Webinar Series. My name is Puji and I'm going to be moderating this webinar. In this session, we will be welcoming University of Southern Denmark or SDU. However, we apologize that the representative of the SDU is unable to present today, and their presentation is rescheduled to Wednesday at 6:15 p.m. Therefore, today we will play for you the videos about SDU so you can get to know it better. Please enjoy.
SDU Esbjerg har fremragende studerende og universitetslærere i internationalt miljø, hvor vi kommer rigtig tæt på hinanden. SDU Esbjerg er også meget dynamisk. Vi udvikler hele tiden nye uddannelser og nye forskningsfelter. SDU Esbjerg har fremragende studerende og universitetslærere i internationalt miljø, hvor vi kommer rigtig tæt på hinanden. SDU Esbjerg er også meget dynamisk. Vi udvikler hele tiden nye uddannelser og nye forskningsfelter. SDU Kolding er en helt fantastisk campus, hvor der foregår en masse spændende ting inden for design, entreprenørskab, relationsledelse, IT og kommunikation. Og så er vi så heldige, at vi har til huse her i den her smukke trekantede bygning, som er designet af Henning Larsen Architects. Vi ligger i hjertet af Kolding og har et fantastisk samarbejde med Kolding Kommune og Business Kolding og uddannelsesinstitutionerne rundt omkring. Vi har en ambition om i fremtiden at være ikke bare Koldings Universitet, men at være hele trekantområdets universitet.
Jeg forsker i social design, og social design det handler om at designe noget for og til de mennesker ude i samfundet, som er sårbare, som er udfordret eller marginaliseret på et eller andet punkt. Jamen, der har vi børnene. Lige nu har vi netop lagt sidste hånd på den her prototype, som vi har arbejdet på i 3 år. Og det er et stort projekt i samarbejde med fængselsforsorgnet. Og her har vi sammen med indsatte fædre og deres børn, designet det her spil, som hedder Fængslet. Det her spil, det skulle gerne skabe en bedre besøgsoplevelse for børnene i fængslerne.
Når vi kigger på den eksisterende litteratur, så er det faktisk...
Jeg forsker i entreprenørskab, og det handler jo om at prøve at forstå, hvordan nye idéer og innovationer de kan blive ført ud i livet. Det kan være som nye virksomheder, men det kan også være som nye projekter i eksisterende virksomheder.
De har mulighed for at lave undervisningsprogrammer. De har mulighed for at aktivere de frivillige ressourcer.
Det særlige ved vores forskning her i Kolding, det er, at vi laver den i tæt samspil med de lokale og regionale samarbejdspartnere. Vi vil gerne have, at vores forskning er relevant og har impact med det samme, både i forhold til de virksomheder, vi samarbejder med, men også i forhold til vores studerende.
Jamen for de områder, hvor der er universiteter, der er fremtiden lys. Altså det er virkelig noget, der kan skabe vækst og udvikling og gøre det muligt for virksomhederne at tiltrække arbejdskraft. Så det er altafgørende at have et universitet liggende i sit nærområde. Så har det også den store fordel, at virksomhederne i dagligdagen har rekrutteringsmuligheder. Og vi samarbejder jo løbende med SDU, og blandt andet om iværksætteri hernede i Parkhuset.
Det skal man jo afgøre med sig selv, synes jeg, det er interessant.
På SDU har jeg fået mulighed for at kunne starte på mit studie og samtidig udvikle min egen virksomhed, som jeg har kunne arbejde med her på Parkhuset. Jeg har startet en virksomhed, der hedder Nordic Plant, hvor vi sælger planter som almindelig pakkepost, som bliver solgt på vores webshop. Du kan ligesom arbejde med dit eget, når du skal gennemgå cases eller lave din eksamensopgave, hvor du ligesom har 2 ting, som du brænder for. Dit studie og din egen virksomhed.
Og det kunne ligesom være lyset her.
Jamen, jeg er rigtig glad for at gå på SDU i Kolding. Jeg studerer IT og produktdesign, og det er et af de lidt mindre traditionelle studier. Vi er studiebaseret, det vil sige, at vi kører projektsprints og er tilkoblet noget relevant vejledning fra forskerne, så derfor er der også et rigtig tæt forhold til de undervisere, der er herude.
Hvordan er det, du arbejder på at gøre en forskel?
Det er egentlig rigtig fedt, fordi vi bliver rigtig involveret i den forskning, der ligesom foregår her, og bliver involveret i, hvad der egentlig sker ude i den rigtige verden.
I Kolding der har vi over 40 uddannelser og ca. 5.000 studerende, og det er ret unikt for en by på Koldings størrelse. Og det kan man også mærke, når man er studerende i byen, at det er en by, hvor der er rigtig mange studerende, og der er et fokus på at skabe et attraktivt studiemiljø. Det betyder, at vi laver en hel del initiativ for de studerende, blandt andet en række events. Og et af de events, vi laver, er blandt andet Kontur, som er vores helt store studiestart-event, hvor de studerende er involveret i hele processen med at booke artister og finde på aktiviteter.
SDU Sønderborg is located right on the border between Denmark and Germany. It is also located in the heart of a high-tech cluster of industries who are global market leaders, amongst others in rapid-growing areas such as e-mobility and sustainable energy technologies. This location shapes who we are. Our research and our education is highly international, with close collaboration with partners just across the border and indeed globally. Here at our campus, there are more than 50 nationalities among our students and our professors, and you hear all the languages of the world spoken here.
Because this was just made in the sputter cup, right? Yeah, masking actually works pretty well.
So what we do research on is solar cells made from organic materials. And that means that they are made from organic molecules. So what you get out is solar cells that are thin, they are lightweight, and they are mechanical flexible, so you can bend them. You can even make them semi-transparent, so you can put them in windows. So it's kind of a solar cell technology of the future.
We are a world-leading research group, and I think one of the reasons is, of course, also that we have really state-of-the-art facilities, both for making the lab-scale small cells, but also combine it with research in how to mass-produce them from this roll-to-roll processing.
The limit can be here, or maybe...
In the project Benefit for Region, we actually developed a trans-border platform for collaboration amongst municipalities and local stakeholders. The aim of this project is to have a platform for deducing new ideas and concepts in the area of social entrepreneurship, and finally to put business into action.
I'm an acoustic phonetician, so I'm working on speech, but also on speech signals.
Wir haben zum Beispiel vom Mietgesetzgeredet heute.
Speech is not only a social means of interaction, it is also a signal. So we have to understand and combine the linguistic expertise with the engineering expertise of acoustics and big data handling.
We have this little auto effect, but basically
and we do this with an application in business here, and we are the only ones currently who do this with charismatic speech and human-robot interaction with a business focus.
For Danfoss betyder det rigtig meget at have SDU i Sønderborg. Det er selvfølgelig en kilde til rekruttering. Vi har selvfølgelig meget tæt samarbejde med forskerne her på Alsion, og vi er ved at udvide uddannelserne med inden for powerelektronik og industriel elektronik. Det gør så, at det bliver rigtig interessant for en virksomhed som Danfoss.
Excuse me, who's that? You get students from everywhere, like not only from Germany and Denmark, but also from Mexico, Canada, USA. So you actually get to know a lot of people from different countries. Small classes of 30, maybe 200 people, where you can actually ask questions during the lectures.
Hi.
Hey.
Can I ask you a question about the assignment?
Yeah, of course. And after the lectures, whenever you have a question.
Generally, I think for being such a small town, Sønderborg has so many social activities. It's incredible how students really are so eager to be volunteering and try to make a social life happen. And I think this is something really special about Sønderborg that I haven't experienced in any other place. It has a special magic, this place, really.
Robots are changing our world. They're revolutionizing the way we collaborate, the way we think, the way we work, and the way we create. Robots are helping people work smarter and businesses grow stronger. So imagine a place where robotics companies are collaborating instead of competing, where the ecosystem is capable of commercializing startups and new technologies, where you will find an international test center for drones, and where the university is so good it won the unofficial world championship in robotics. That place is the Danish city of Odense. Maybe you've heard of something called Universal Robots.
We wanted to make a robot that is more like a tool that helps people do their work, more than this big machine behind a fence that steals people's jobs.
The team created what today is known as collaborative robots, or cobots. In 2015, everything changed. Universal Robots was acquired for $285 million.
It actually opened the eyes for the world at large.
Everybody would start talking about the future is collaborative robots.
Prior to UR, there was a lot of talk about all the things that never worked in Odense. And now people, they talk about all the things that are possible.
So everybody suddenly realized there's something special going on in Odense.
And this was only the beginning, because it wasn't just universal robots.
There's a whole string of equally great companies in the making. Companies that are also growing at phenomenal rates of more than 50% a year.
Ranging from startups to large corporations, Odense now houses dozens of robotics companies and a total of several thousand employees.
I have not seen any denser cluster of robot technology anywhere else. We have the university with the world-class research. We have Technological Institute, which brings technology out to the industries. And then we have the local government, who's all for robotics and all for robots.
People see each other as colleagues more than competitors.
Companies are building their own business on other companies also.
And they need each other. So they exchange information, they even exchange people.
We have some extremely exciting jobs here that you cannot find in other cities.
The limiting factor on high-tech industries is usually talent. And talent is attracted by talent. And the critical mass of talent is in Odense.
There's a huge interest in investing in Odense now.
And it's been a lot easier for the startups to raise funding.
When you come out and say that you are part of the Odense robot cluster, you get an ear with the customers.
But Odense needs more. It needs you.
We are already one of the leading cities in the world, but I think that Odense as a robotics city can grow even further.
It's probably one of the best places in the world to start building robot businesses, and that's why Odense has become, you can say, a rising star in the robot scene in the world.
If you are able to succeed in robotics, then it's here.
SDU Esbjerg har fremragende studerende og universitetslærere i et internationalt miljø, hvor vi kommer rigtig tæt på hinanden. SDU Esbjerg er også meget dynamisk. Vi udvikler hele tiden nye uddannelser og nye forskningsfelter, som der er brug for. Vi har lavet nye uddannelser i Energy Management og i en kandidatspecialisering i konkurrence- og eliteidræt. Og meget spændende i øjeblikket er, at vi har en ny lægeuddannelse i støbeskeen.
Folkesundhedsvidenskab og SDU Esbjerg, der kan vi det her med at undersøge social ulighed i sundhedsprofiler. Altså, den er stigende, men selvfølgelig er realvæksten også stigende. I fremtiden der vil vi helt klart kigge på demensområdet. Det er et område, der er i vækst, og det er vigtigt at lave sunde rammer og give de demente medborgere et meningsfuldt og værdigt liv.
I dag der beskæftiger vi os med rigtig mange ting. Biodiversitet, udvikling i Arktis, energi. Vi er sådan set eksperter i at være tværfaglige. Vi er økonomer, ressourceøkonomer, miljøøkonomer, og vores forskning bygger ovenpå det, som andre folk har fundet ud af i naturvidenskab, tekniske videnskaber osv., og vi binder det sammen.
Det viser sig jo gang på gang, at når studerende de kommer til Esbjerg, så har de måske nogle fordomme, når de starter, men når de først kommer hertil, så oplever de jo faktisk en fantastisk by, fordi der er faktisk rigtig gode muligheder. Vi har næsten jobgaranti, hvis man slår sig ned her og tager en uddannelse.
Når vi har SDU, betyder jo både, at vi har fremtidens arbejdskraft, så dernæst også de vidensdele, som vi ikke nødvendigvis lige står og mangler, men som udfordrer os kvæg praktik eller bachelor-kandidatopgaver.
Jamen altså, da jeg blev ansat herude, så var det lidt med den udfordring, jeg skulle skabe min egen stilling. Og til sammen med sådan kigge på miljøspørgsmål, det har lidt udviklet sig sådan, at når jeg nu forhåbentlig kan fejle min kandidat, har jeg lidt fået lovning på et fuldtidsarbejde.
Jeg valgte SDU Esbjerg, fordi at uddannelsen her den er bygget op omkring nogle semesterprojekter, hvor man får lov at samarbejde med erhvervslivet. Og det synes jeg er super fedt, for det gør det mere praksisnært. Så det er hovedsageligt derfor, jeg valgte det.
SDU Kolding er en helt fantastisk campus, hvor der foregår en masse spændende ting inden for design, entreprenørskab, relationsledelse, IT og kommunikation. Og så er vi så heldige, at vi har til huse her i den her smukke trekantede bygning, som er designet af Henning Larsen Architects. Vi ligger i hjertet af Kolding og har et fantastisk samarbejde med Kolding Kommune og Business Kolding og uddannelsesinstitutionerne rundt omkring. Vi har en ambition om i fremtiden at være ikke bare Koldings Universitet, men at være hele trekantområdets universitet.
Jeg forsker i social design. Og social design, det handler om at designe noget for og til de mennesker ude i samfundet, som er sårbare, som er udfordret eller marginaliseret på et eller andet punkt.
Jamen, der har vi børnene.
Lige nu har vi netop lagt sidste hånd på den her prototype, som vi har arbejdet på i 3 år. Og det er et stort projekt i samarbejde med fængselsforsorgnet. Og her har vi sammen med indsatte fædre og deres børn, designet det her spil, som hedder Fængslet. Det her spil, det skulle gerne skabe en bedre besøgsoplevelse for børnene i fængslerne.
Når vi kigger på den eksisterende litteratur, så er det faktisk...
Jeg forsker i entreprenørskab, og det handler jo om at prøve at forstå, hvordan nye idéer og innovationer de kan blive ført ud i livet. Det kan være som nye virksomheder, men det kan også være som nye projekter i eksisterende virksomheder.
De har mulighed for at lave undervisningsprogrammer. De har mulighed for at aktivere de frivillige ressourcer.
Det særlige ved vores forskning her i Kolding, det er, at vi laver den i et tæt samspil med de lokale og regionale samarbejdspartnere. Vi vil gerne have, at vores forskning er relevant og har impact med det samme, både i forhold til de virksomheder, vi samarbejder med, men også i forhold til vores studerende.
Jamen for de områder, hvor der er universiteter, der er fremtiden lys. Altså det er virkelig noget, der kan skabe vækst og udvikling og gøre det muligt for virksomhederne at tiltrække arbejdskraft. Så det er altafgørende at have et universitet liggende i sit nærområde. Så har det også den store fordel, at virksomhederne i dagligdagen har rekrutteringsmuligheder. Og vi samarbejder jo løbende med SDU, og blandt andet om iværksætteri hernede i Parkhuset.
Det skal man jo afgøre med sig selv, synes jeg, det er interessant.
På SDU har jeg fået mulighed for at kunne starte på mit studie og samtidig udvikle min egen virksomhed, som jeg har kunne arbejde med her på Parkhuset. Jeg har startet en virksomhed, der hedder Nordic Plant, hvor vi sælger planter som almindelig pakkepost, som bliver solgt på vores webshop. Du kan ligesom arbejde med dit eget, når du skal gennemgå cases eller lave din eksamensopgave, hvor du ligesom har 2 ting, som du brænder for. Dit studie og din egen virksomhed.
Og det kunne ligesom være lyset her.
Jamen, jeg er rigtig glad for at gå på SDU i Kolding. Jeg studerer IT og produktdesign, og det er et af de lidt mindre traditionelle studier. Vi er studiebaseret, det vil sige, at vi kører projektsprints og er tilkoblet noget relevant vejledning fra forskerne, så derfor er der også et rigtig tæt forhold til de undervisere, der er herude.
Hvordan er det, du arbejder på at gøre en forskel?
Det er egentlig rigtig fedt, fordi vi bliver rigtig involveret i den forskning, der ligesom foregår her, og bliver involveret i, hvad der egentlig sker ude i den rigtige verden.
I Kolding der har vi over 40 uddannelser og ca. 5.000 studerende, og det er ret unikt for en by på Koldings størrelse. Og det kan man også mærke, når man er studerende i byen, at det er en by, hvor der er rigtig mange studerende, og der er et fokus på at skabe et attraktivt studiemiljø. Det betyder, at vi laver en hel del initiativ for de studerende, blandt andet en række events. Og et af de events, vi laver, er blandt andet Kontur, som er vores helt store studiestart-event, hvor de studerende er involveret i hele processen med at booke artister og finde på aktiviteter.
SDU Sønderborg is located right on the border between Denmark and Germany. It is also located in the heart of a high-tech cluster of industries who are global market leaders, amongst others, in rapid-growing areas such as e-mobility and sustainable energy technologies. This location shapes who we are. Our research and our education is highly international, with close collaboration with partners just across the border and indeed globally. Here at our campus, there are more than 50 nationalities among our students, and our professors, and you hear all the languages of the world spoken here.
Because this was just made in the sputter cup, right?
This masking actually works pretty well.
So what we do research on is solar cells made from organic materials. And that means that they are made from organic molecules. So what you get out is solar cells that are thin, they are lightweight, and they are mechanical flexible, so you can bend them. You can even make them semi-transparent, so you can put them in windows. So it's kind of a solar cell technology of the future. We are a world-leading research group, and I think one of the reasons is, of course, also that we have really state-of-the-art facilities, both for making the lab-scale small cells, but also combine it with research in how to mass-produce them from this roll-to-roll processing.
The limit can be here, or maybe...
In the project Benefit for Region, we actually developed a trans-border platform for collaboration amongst municipalities and local stakeholders. The aim of this project is to have a platform for deducing new ideas and concepts in the area of social entrepreneurship, and finally to put business into action.
I'm an acoustic phonetician, so I'm working on speech, but also on speech signals.
Wir haben zum Beispiel vom Mietgesetzgerät heute.
Speech is not only a social means of interaction, it is also a signal. So we have to understand and combine the linguistic expertise with the engineering expertise of acoustics and big data handling.
We had this little auto effect, but basically
and we do this with an application in business here, and we are the only ones currently who do this with charismatic speech and human-robot interaction with a business focus.
For Danfoss betyder det rigtig meget at have SDU i Sønderborg. Det er selvfølgelig en kilde til rekruttering. Vi har selvfølgelig meget tæt samarbejde med forskerne her på Altion, og vi er ved at udvide uddannelserne med inden for powerelektronik og industriel elektronik. Det gør så, at det bliver rigtig interessant for en virksomhed som Danfoss.
Excuse me, who's that? You get students from everywhere, like not only from Germany and Denmark, but also from Mexico, Canada, USA. So you actually get to know a lot of people from different countries. Small classes of 30, maybe 200 people, where you can actually ask questions during the lectures.
Hi.
Hey.
Can I ask you a question about the assignment?
Yeah, of course. And after the lectures, whenever you have a question.
Generally, I think for being such a small town, Sønderborg has so many social activities. It's incredible how students really are so eager to be volunteering and try to make a social life happen. And I think this is something really special about Sønderborg that I haven't experienced in any other place. It has a special magic, this place, really.
Robots are changing our world. They're revolutionizing the way we collaborate, the way we think, the way we work, and the way we create. Robots are helping people work smarter and businesses grow stronger. So imagine a place where robotics companies are collaborating instead of competing, where the ecosystem is capable of commercializing startups and new technologies, where you will find an international test center for drones, and where the university is so good it won the unofficial world championship in robotics. That place is the Danish city of Odense. Maybe you've heard of something called universal robots.
We wanted to make a robot that is more like a tool that helps people do their work, more than this big machine behind a fence that steals people's jobs.
The team created what today is known as collaborative robots, or cobots. In 2015, everything changed. Universal Robots was acquired for $285 million.
It actually opened the eyes for the world at large.
Everybody will start talking about the future is collaborative robots.
Prior to UR, there was a lot of talk about all the things that never worked in Odense. And now people, they talk about all the things that are possible.
So everybody suddenly realized there's something special going on in Odense.
And this was only the beginning, because it wasn't just Universal Robots.
There's a whole string of equally great companies in the making. Companies that are also growing at phenomenal rates of more than 50% a year.
Ranging from startups to large corporations, Odense now houses dozens of robotics companies and a total of several thousand employees.
I have not seen any denser cluster of robot technology anywhere else. We have the university with the world-class research. We have Technological Institute, which brings technology out to the industries. And then we have the local government, who's all for robotics and all for robots.
People see each other as colleagues more than competitors.
Companies are building their own business on other companies also.
And they need each other. So they exchange information, they even exchange people.
We have some extremely exciting jobs here that you cannot find in other cities.
The limiting factor on high-tech industries is usually talent. And talent is attracted by talent. And the critical mass of talent is in Odense.
There's a huge interest in investing in Odense now.
And it's been a lot easier for the startups to raise funding.
When you come out and say that you are part of the Odense robot cluster, you get an ear with the customers.
But Odense needs more. It needs you.
We are already one of the leading cities in the world, but I think that Odense as a robotics city can grow even further.
It's probably one of the best places in the world to start building robot businesses, and that's why Odense has become, you can say, a rising star in the robot scene in the world.
If you are able to succeed in robotics, then it's here.
SDU Esbjerg har fremragende studerende og universitetslærere i et internationalt miljø, hvor vi kommer rigtig tæt på hinanden. SDU Esbjerg er også meget dynamisk. Vi udvikler hele tiden nye uddannelser og nye forskningsfelter, som der er brug for. Vi har lavet nye uddannelser i Energy Management og i en kandidatspecialisering i konkurrence- og eliteidræt. Og meget spændende i øjeblikket er, at vi har en ny lægeuddannelse i støbeskeen.
Folkesundhedsvidenskab og SDU Esbjerg, der kan vi det her med at undersøge social ulighed i sundhedsprofiler.
Altså, den er stigende, men selvfølgelig er realvæksten også stigende.
I fremtiden der vil vi helt klart kigge på demensområdet. Det er et område, der er i vækst, og det er vigtigt at lave sunde rammer og give de demente medborgere et meningsfuldt og værdigt liv.
I dag der beskæftiger vi os med rigtig mange ting. Biodiversitet, udvikling i Arktis, energi. Vi er sådan set eksperter i at være tværfaglige. Vi er økonomer, ressourceøkonomer, miljøøkonomer, og vores forskning bygger ovenpå det, som andre folk har fundet ud af i naturvidenskab, tekniske videnskaber osv., og vi binder det sammen.
Det viser sig jo gang på gang, at når studerende de kommer til Esbjerg, så har de måske nogle fordomme, når de starter, men når de først kommer hertil, så oplever de jo faktisk en fantastisk by, fordi der er faktisk rigtig gode muligheder. Vi har næsten jobgaranti, hvis man slår sig ned her og tager en uddannelse.
Når vi har SDU, betyder jo både, at vi har fremtidens arbejdskraft, så dernæst også de vidensdele, som vi ikke nødvendigvis lige står og mangler, men som udfordrer os kvæg praktik eller bachelor-kandidatopgaver.
Jamen altså, da jeg blev ansat herude, så var det lidt med den udfordring, jeg skulle skabe min egen stilling. Og til at starte med sådan kigge på miljøspørgsmål, det har lidt udviklet sig sådan, at når jeg nu forhåbentlig kan færdig med min kandidat, har jeg lidt fået lovning på et fuldtidsarbejde.
Jeg valgte SDU Esbjerg, fordi at uddannelsen her den er bygget op omkring nogle semesterprojekter, hvor man får lov at samarbejde med erhvervslivet. Og det synes jeg er super fedt, for det gør det mere praksisnært. Så det er hovedsageligt derfor, jeg valgte det.
Trekantet bygning, som er designet af Henning Larsen Arkitekt. SDU Kolding er en helt fantastisk campus, hvor der foregår en masse spændende ting inden for design, entreprenørskab, relationsledelse, IT og kommunikation. Og så er vi så heldige, at vi har til huse her i den her smukke trekantede bygning, som er designet af Henning Larsen Arkitekt. Vi ligger i hjertet af Kolding og har et fantastisk samarbejde med Kolding Kommune og Business Kolding og uddannelsesinstitutionerne rundt omkring. Vi har en ambition om i fremtiden at være ikke bare Koldings Universitet, men at være hele trekantområdets universitet.
Jeg forsker i socialt design. Og socialt design, det handler om at designe noget for og til de mennesker ude i samfundet, som er sårbare, som er udfordret eller marginaliseret på et eller andet punkt.
Jamen, der har vi børnene.
Lige nu har vi netop lagt sidste hånd på den her prototype, som vi har arbejdet på i 3 år. Og det er et stort projekt i samarbejde med Fængselsforsorgnet. Og her har vi sammen med indsatte fædre og deres børn, designet det her spil, som hedder Fængslet. Det her spil, det skulle gerne skabe en bedre besøgsoplevelse for børnene i fængsler.
Og det handler jo om at prøve at forstå, hvordan nye idéer og innovationer de kan blive ført ud i livet. Det kan være som nye virksomheder, men det kan også være som nye projekter i eksisterende virksomheder.
De har mulighed for at lave undervisningsprogrammer. De har mulighed for at aktivere de frivillige ressourcer.
Det særlige ved vores forskning her i Kolding, det er, at vi laver den i tæt samspil med de lokale og regionale samarbejdspartnere. Vi vil gerne have, at vores forskning er relevant og har impact med det samme, både i forhold til de virksomheder, vi samarbejder med, men også i forhold til vores studerende.
Jamen for de områder, hvor der er universiteter, der er fremtiden lys. Altså det er virkelig noget, der kan skabe vækst og udvikling og gøre det muligt for virksomhederne at tiltrække arbejdskraft. Så det er altafgørende at have et universitet liggende i sit nærområde. Så har det også den store fordel, at virksomhederne i dagligdagen har rekrutteringsmuligheder. Og vi samarbejder jo løbende med SDU, og blandt andet om iværksætteri hernede i Parkhuset.
Det skal man jo afgøre med sig selv, synes jeg det er interessant.
På SDU har jeg fået mulighed for at kunne starte på mit studie og samtidig udvikle min egen virksomhed, som jeg har kunne arbejde med her på Parkhuset.
Hello, welcome to EHEF Indonesia 2020 Goes Online. This is University Webinar Series. My name is Puji and I'm going to be moderating this webinar. This webinar is going to be presented by Zealand Institute of Technology and Business. Please stay tuned until the end of the webinar because we will hold a Q&A session. If you have any questions about the presentation or anything related to the country's higher education, you can submit your question in YouTube's comment section anytime throughout the presentation. And now, please welcome the representative of Zealand Institute of Technology and Business.
Hello and welcome to this session. I'm happy to have the chance to give you virtually at least an input on Zealand Academy of Technologies and Business and our offer to international students. I'm just going to share a PowerPoint because I've prepared a PowerPoint and I'm going to walk through that within the next half hour, trying to address typical and common issues a student might have before going abroad to study for their degree. Just 2 seconds. I just need to find there. So I hope you follow the timetable in terms of Zealand Academy of Technologies and Business. Now, first of all, a few contacts. If you want to explore more, visit our webpage, zealand.com. You can also approach us by email, studyindenmark@zealand.dk. Now, who are we? Well, first of all, we are a public institution in Denmark. In fact, in Denmark, you only find public institutions, and we are under the Ministry of Higher Education and Science. When we talk about an academy in Denmark, then you can compare us to a University of Applied Science. You may be familiar with this term. I'm going to explore a little bit later on with you what is the difference between a typical research university and then a University of Applied Science. We're the 5th largest in Denmark, approximately 3,000 full-time students. We have a really good international population. 16% of our students are international students, also from Indonesia. We also have a number of part-time students, 250 staff, and a number of programs we offer. Now, where are we? Here you see a map of Denmark. We are located on the island of Zealand, or you can also call it Greater Copenhagen area, because we are actually in the capital region in the outer part of the capital city, Copenhagen. The programs we offer, we only offer in the campuses in the proximity of Copenhagen. So even though we have other campuses further away, then this is because we have a regional mission. We have to make education available in all of Zealand, but we have a global reach. And this is why international programs are located in the proximity of the capital city. One of the characteristics is also that we have quite close links with business and industry, and you're going to explore that later on as well. Now, Denmark, for those of you who don't know that much about Denmark, then Denmark is a pretty small country. You can call us the gateway between Scandinavia and continental Europe. We are, in fact, a part of Scandinavia, consisting of Sweden, Norway, and Finland, and then, of course, Denmark. Denmark consists of one major peninsula, which is connected, so mainland connection to Germany. And then you have 2 islands, the island of Fyn and then Zealand, where we are located. When you look upon Danish population, well, some of you may live in Jakarta right now, 5.8 million in the whole country of Denmark. That may contrast you to the Jakarta, where you probably have a population 2 or 3 or 4 times bigger. So you can say Denmark is a relatively small place, both in terms of the country, geographically, but also in terms of the people living there. We have 4 major cities in Denmark. Copenhagen is where we're located. And then in the peninsula, you have 2 major cities, Aarhus and Aalborg. And then in the island of Fyn, you have Odense. Now, in Denmark, we speak our own language. We have a Danish language, but most people would speak English as a second language, so you can easily manage in daily life, living in Denmark, knowing English. We, of course, try to promote you in terms of trying to learn Danish language, because this will also benefit you later on when you're trying to look for a job upon graduation in Denmark. Some of you may know Denmark from green environment or green energy. This is at least something we are quite popular with in the rest of the world. We have a lot of bikes in Denmark. We have a very efficient transportation system, and in general, we have quite high standards of living. Why study in Denmark? Well, one could ask, why not study in the country with the happiest people in the world? This is just a small statistic to show you, because you can also try to Google it yourself. Happiest people in the world, you will see this is Denmark. Well, are we then smiling all the time? Are we laughing all the time? Is it this what it tells us? No, probably not. But it tells you something about life in general. Life is good. People in general don't face a lot of problems living in Denmark, and this is why we come out in all these surveys as being one of the happiest places in the world. Now, the programs we offer only undergraduate programs. So are you looking for a master degree? Then it's not us. We also offer an applied learning approach. Applied meaning we don't focus on learning theory, but we focus on learning and how to use theory. All our programs carry internships. They are mandatory and they are embedded into the curriculum. So you cannot study with us, no matter which program you study in, without doing an internship. This, of course, also means that when we look upon employability, our students and our graduates have a relatively high employability. Why? Simply because besides studying, they also develop their work experience while studying with you. We focus also on developing our students' global mindset and global competences, and the latest figure shows we measure this upon graduates. 25% of our graduates in 2018 had done a mobility abroad, so either doing an internship abroad or doing a study abroad. Our program also have a relatively high flexibility. If you refer to the figure, there you see this is the qualification network, and as you can see, we offer academy profession degree and all the way to a professional bachelor's. So short circle programs, and also on top of that, first circle. So for master degree, you would then transfer to a research university. Now, in a popular way, you could say the difference between us as a University of Applied Science and a research university is a research university is focused on know-how. So their focus is how to put as much theory in your head by studying, by reading books, by going to lectures. Our focus is perhaps a little bit more on knowing how to do it. So you have to learn the same theory on same level, but our focus would be not to focus on learning the theory, but how to put the theory into practice, how to use the theory you're learning in a respect to the degree you study and prepare yourself for. Here, just to give you an overview, we have a very broad range of programs, and of course, only the ones marked with the UK flag or the English flag are the ones we offer as full degree programs for international students. But besides, you can see we range from nutrition, from food, from process technology, to agro, landscape. We have building architecture. Those programs, unfortunately, we don't offer in English language. But what do we then offer in English language? Well, when you study with us, you study in two steps. First, the AP degree, which is the first 2 years. On top of that, you then build your bachelor degree, 1.5 years. So altogether, 3.5 years. We have marketing management, logistics. I'm going to focus a little upon what is in the program, computer science, multimedia design and communication. We have service, hospitality, tourism, and then we have commerce management. And then on top of that, you can build with web development, international sales and marketing management. And then we also have digital concept development. Now, Instead of telling you a lot about courses, what do you study, how many ECTS in all the courses, my focus is perhaps a little bit more on telling you what typical career you actually educate yourself for, because this is also one of the characteristics when you study with an Academy of Applied Science, University of Applied Science in Denmark, is you actually prepare yourself for a job career. Marketing management would be a typical business career as a marketing coordinator within sales, could be within purchasing, could be within advertising. Commerce management positions would be as a supervisor, project manager, logistics, tourism sector. Service, hospitality, tourism, well, it almost tells the word itself. It is, of course, focusing on either tourism, a job within tourism, as for instance in tourism and travel agency, within cruise tourism, or for instance within general booking. Hotel restaurant management, of course, with a focus towards hotels, a job within hotels and restaurants. Service management would be, for instance, as a consultant, would be within health treatment centers and so on. Logistics. Logistics, a lot of people think logistics is about shipping. Well, to some extent it is, but logistics is actually also dealing with moving things from point A to point B. Where do we do this? Well, we do logistics, for instance, within exporting, production planning, so getting raw materials, producing the product that the company produce, and then you have also the the ready-made product. It could be planning of transportation, could be international marketing, purchasing. So that would typically be a career you would pursue within logistics. Computer science, well, it's programming, systems development, a lot of zeros, a lot of ones. You could be a network administrator or within multimedia development. Multimedia design and communication is a little bit more, you can say, creative. You could be a multimedia designer, webmaster, web designer, multimedia consultant, and so on. If you want to build upon your AP degree, so the first step for a bachelor degree, then we offer 3 possibilities for you. And of course, the different AP degrees also correspond to the top-up major you study for. So for instance, international sales and marketing management would be typically marketing management, could be commerce management or logistics, because now you're moving a little bit up into middle management level, still within international sales, marketing. So as a sales representative, a sales supporter, could be as a sales planner, even a manager, but it would be typically middle management. Digital concept development is a program. It sounds quite technical. It is actually not. Typically multimedia designers, marketing management, commerce management, computer science would be graduates that would continue within digital concept development. And basically you take your degree into a more digital approach. So for instance, digital advertising, social media strategy. You would be working within interactive digital marketing, e-shop, e-commerce, e-marketing in general. When we talk about web development, then we talk about a more technical program. Typically, it would be for major part computer science, could also be multimedia designers who want to become a little bit more profound within programming, systems development. So typically, webmaster, application developer, systems developer. So in general, that would be the career you educate yourself for. Now, we skip that one because I can also see we have a time issue. Living in Denmark. So one thing is, of course, studying. And when you go abroad to study, you also need to reflect a little upon living and the situation of living. Well, first of all, as I told you in the beginning, Denmark is one of the happiest places in the world. We actually also ranked as one of the top countries in terms of prosperity. So in general, you can say living conditions are relatively high in Denmark and relatively good. It is a safe country. One thing students quite often ask about is part-time jobs. Is it easy to have a part-time job? Can I find a part-time job? Yes, you can. In fact, we also promote among students to try and find a part-time job, because it is actually also a way for you to get a little bit away from the schoolwork. You will also get a different social circle when you, for instance, have a job, meet other people. Could be a way also of integrating a little bit more into Danish society. So not only being here as a student, but actually one who is trying to make a life in Denmark as well. Typically part-time jobs, at least in the beginning, would be within the service industry. So could be within a restaurant, could be in a hotel. Even cleaning would pay relatively good in Denmark. Typically, the average wage in Denmark is in euros from around 12 to 9 euros per hour. So you can say in general, student jobs pay relatively well. But you also need, you can say, a relatively solid budget to live in Denmark. In Denmark, we don't go by euros. We don't use euros as it is right now. We have our own currency, Danish kroner or DKK, but the exchange rate between euro and Danish kroner is fixed. So 1 euro is approximately 7.5 Danish kroner. If we look upon a student budget to cover accommodation, food, other necessities, you might need a telephone, leisure, go out with your friends, have a coffee, have a tea. Typically for a student, we say 800 to 1,000 euros per month. That would typically be what you need to cover your living costs in 1 month. And when we talk about part-time jobs, will you have a part-time job from day one? No, typically not. Typically, when you come to Denmark, you need to settle down. It will take you 1 or 2 months to get adjusted to a study life. And of course, also finding yourself a part-time job. So typically within the first 1 month to 3 months, that would be the time where you perhaps can find yourself a part-time job. So we normally recommend to students, well, if you want to come to Denmark, you at least would need around 4,000 euros as savings or support from your parents. It is of course nice if you have more, but at least this would be the minimum recommendation that we would recommend if you are considering to go to Denmark. Because like I said, you don't find a job day one, and you need to be able to sustain yourself for living expenses until you find yourself a part-time job. Admission. When we talk about the programs we offer, what are then the admission requirements? Well, first of all the programs we offer, you need to have finished your upper secondary level or your high school. If you have IB, so International Baccalaureate, or a Cambridge certified background, which I know a lot of students in Indonesia have, then we actually give preference to those students because you have studied for your major, high school major in English. But of course, you can also enter with an Indonesian upper secondary entry qualification. Then all our programs also carry a specific program-specific requirement in terms of mathematics. And I can refer you to our webpage, zealand.com, for more details. But in general, when we give admission, then certain programs require different levels of math. So for instance, the AP degree in marketing management or our AP degree in computer science, those programs require the highest level of math. And how we measure that will be according to the number of hours you have studied math in your upper secondary school. We require 250 hours of math if you want to study, for instance, computer science or marketing management. But I refer you to our webpage in terms of practicalities on how we then find out how many hours of math you actually have had. Then we also require you to demonstrate English language proficiency. We do recognize other tests but the IELTS, but we go by the level IELTS 6.5. So you can have an equivalent score, for instance, from TOEFL or Cambridge or anything like that. So anything that can be recognized, we would recognize that. And then lastly, but not least, we also require you to prepare a motivation letter. And one of the things we would like to see from a motivation letter is your motivation for going abroad to study. Why do you want to go abroad to study? What is it that appeals to you? We perhaps don't like to see motivation letters. For instance, you can find them if you Google them. You can find them online, where you actually can buy yourself or more or less a ready-made one. We actually prefer one made by you compared to one that sounds good, because it is you we actually want to judge. But when we receive your application, then we try to measure you in terms of being a whole person. So it is not only that you have high grades in your upper secondary, it is trying to find out who are you and whether you would fit into the program you actually apply for. Now, as an Indonesian student, you will join us as what we call a non-European student, and this means also tuition fee applies. With us, you need to prepay for the first year, so the first 2 semesters. And that is a fixed 71,000 Danish kroner, or equaling approximately 9,800 euros. So this you need to prepay when we give you admission, and you are paid for the first year. Second year, so consecutive years, you pay per semester. And typically also the price will be a little bit lower when you advance into second year, and if you continue, for instance, for the top-up bachelor, third year, and so on. But you have to prepay. That is a requirement we have. And then also when you apply for your student visa, or in Denmark it's actually a study residence you apply for, you also need to be able to document that you have sufficient funds to support living expenses in Denmark for the first year. And typically you would do this with a bank statement or that you have sponsors or something like that. You will receive what is called a non-EU residence permit for studying in Denmark, and that also includes a travel visa to Schengen countries. So you will be able to travel around in the Schengen countries without applying for any additional visa. And also when you have your residence permit for Denmark, it comes automatically also with a part-time work permit. So you don't have to apply again for a part-time work permit. That is your right. So when you have a student visa, then you also have a right to have a part-time job permit. Now, when do you apply? Well, it is at least now you have to consider to apply if you want to join us for September next year. The application window for Denmark is from 1st of February to 15th of March next year. If you miss 15th of March, well, we don't have any possibility to include you for September study start. So it is now you have to start thinking about perhaps wanting to join your program in Denmark. You apply online. In Denmark, we have an application portal, a bit similar to the UCAS in the UK. Ours is just optagelse.dk. You log into there, it will open, and there will be like 3 bars, 3 columns, and you of course follow the one in English because the other 2 are meant for Danish applicants and will be in Danish language also. I also refer you to our webpage, sealand.com, where you find additional information on the programs I've talked about, but also the admission requirements and how to apply a program. And then also I can refer you to our local partner in Indonesia. Sealand Academy of Technology and Business have been part of EHEF Indonesia for several years. The first year we joined were in 2014. So we have been there every year since then, and we are of course very sad that we have to do it virtual this year. But we know also that finding relevant information about us, about options in general, can be difficult due to the geographical distance, the time distance, and so on. We have a local partner, Mr. Yunus Caesar in Indonesia. He's from Eduplan Indonesia. I strongly recommend to connect with him. You have his WhatsApp number here, 62857 2768 6969 or info@eduplanindonesia.com. connect with him. He has been to visit us, so he knows very well our institution. He has also been sending students to us. So in that sense, you can say he is familiar with what does it take to actually go and study in Denmark. Now, time is more or less getting to the point where it's question time. So I would like to ask if any of you might have questions of relevance to ask me.
All right, thank you very much for your presentation. We have a few questions already, so let's just jump right into it.
Yeah.
Our first question, we have about the registration requirements, particularly for Indonesian students. Can they register with their degree certificate or final exam results? And do you have any minimum score for that? And also, in your explanation, I've noticed that IB and Cambridge curriculums are given preference. So in that case, can they register using prediction score?
One more time, the last part. I didn't get the last part.
So
can they
I noticed
register?
Can they register using prediction scores?
Predictive scores?
Yes.
Yes, you can, because as also already observed, when you apply us 1st of February to 15th of March, you don't have your final diploma yet. So this means you would apply us with predicted scores, and then of course eventually we would need to have your diploma to confirm admission, but at least we can process you as far as now we are ready to give you admission, and we also need to admit you a little bit earlier than other students because you also need to apply for the visa. So typically, when we talk about early June, this would be where you have your final admission, but again, on the condition that you send us the graduation diploma when you have it. And yes, it is correct. You can apply us, or we give preference to students with IB or a Cambridge background, but in general, you can also apply with an Indonesian high school background. So options are available, but giving credit is we give preference to. So they have a little bit more points for admission. That is the issue.
Right, thank you very much. So your presentation has been quite an insightful introduction of Zealand Institute of Technology and Business and how it's like to study there. But the audience would like to hear more about the city itself and how is it like living there as an international student, and what kind of typical challenges they encounter both in their studies and settling down in the city, and what kind of support is available.
In general, I can recommend you to join for the EHEF on coming Friday and Saturday, because on coming Friday and Saturday, I actually will have an Indonesian student joining me. And there, of course, you will be able to ask some of these questions. But I would think that, at least this is my impression from the feedback that I have, is students in general feel that they are living a relatively good life. In Denmark, you live, you can say, a relatively free life. Not that many will control you. But on the other hand, it also means that you have to be a little bit outgoing yourself, because nobody will tell you what to do in your free time. So you have to be the outgoing one in terms of finding out what is it actually you want to do in your free time. Some students, for instance, would find a part-time job. Other students perhaps have a sports interest. I would like to play football or handball or badminton or something like that. Quite often, for instance, Indonesia and Denmark challenge each other in the badminton, ping pong events, world events around the world. Those would be some of the things you would do. In general, I would say life is relatively safe. Just as an example, right now we have Corona time, and what you see is that many countries are in a kind of like a lockdown situation. We were also in a lockdown situation in March, but since summer holiday, we basically have been able to keep more or less country open, so we have been able to control the spread of the virus. So that, for instance, when we talk about higher education, in many countries you have only online classes. With us, you actually have physical classes, so you actually do meet in during a daily basis to go to the classes you need to go to follow the program. So I would say, in general, you can say Denmark is also, in terms of living here by yourself, is a relatively safe country to be in.
Right. So I think living with the happiest people in the world does sound exciting, and I think you share the excitement as well. And indeed, COVID-19 pandemic has been a challenge worldwide. Can you share to us, how is the next academic year going to look like in Zealand?
Yeah, we definitely expect that the next academic year will be so as close as it possibly can be to what it used to be before the corona. In fact, we started out in September, so in the present academic year in September, and we were actually a little bit worried about our international students, whether they actually would feel comfortable coming to Denmark to study. So we were actually fearing that there would be a lot of no-shows for September. And to our surprise, we saw that it was only a very, very few students who actually didn't join in. So even from Indonesia, our students joined in. So you can say, in that sense, I think one of the things that has been appealing during Corona time for a lot of students is, well, if Corona is here, well, then I'd rather be in Denmark than in my home country in terms of if something happens, because everything is relatively organized and safe in a Danish context. So we definitely expect that next academic year will be more or less as close to normal as it possibly can be.
All right. Well, that sounds promising, and fingers crossed things are getting better in the
crossing
future.
Fingers, yes.
So we
That's
also
true.
have a question on scholarships. So what kind of scholarship opportunities are available for international students, especially Indonesians in particular?
Yeah, right now, unfortunately, we don't find scholarships in Denmark. Like I said, we are public institutions, all of us in Denmark. We don't have private institutions. So when we talk about scholarships, they only become available when you reach master level or PhD level. Then you start to see scholarships being available. But for undergraduate studies, you don't find scholarships, unfortunately. But on the other hand, you can see one of the things you do find in Denmark is, compared to a lot of other countries, the Danish government approach is, in fact, that we would like to see students remain in Denmark after graduation. So it's not like this, that you come to Denmark and then you study with us and then more or less we kick you out again, go back home. We actually would like to see you stay in Denmark, because one of the challenges the work market, the labor market have in Denmark is we are actually not enough people to fill vacant positions. So we, of course, know not all international students would remain back in Denmark, but what we can see is the one who actually stay in Denmark, they actually have a pretty good chance of finding a job. Like I said to you, we have really good employment figures and a high employability in our programs. They typically are on AP level, so the first step, if you graduate from there, you would find employment figures around 94 to 95% of graduates who want to find a job actually have a job. It is a little bit lower when we move to the bachelor level, but still we have a relatively good employment figure and statistics in terms of if you want to stay in Denmark. Of course, it takes time to find a job, but once you have it, then you actually have a pretty good chance of making yourself alive in Denmark upon graduation.
All right, that sounds exciting. And that actually kind of answers the next question that we have, which is about the job opportunity after finishing college. But on that note, how do you see the job opportunity considering the current situation where, some let's say, well, not necessarily the government, but probably employers would prefer those who are from the country instead of, let's say, international graduates?
Yeah, but I think also being a graduate, for instance, from Indonesia, but I would say from wherever, so being from China, being from India, being from wherever, of course, one of the things you have to use is, of course, you have to use your advantage. What is your advantage compared to, for instance, a Danish student who graduates? Well, first of all, you have a different background. You speak also other languages. In Indonesia case, it would be Indonesian. And Denmark, you can say Denmark as a country is an open economy. We don't have a lot of raw materials, so we are not that type of economy. Our economy is based upon trade. So a major part of Danish business is actually being exporting, importing, and we depend heavily on being able to do that. And as an Indonesian graduate, I would definitely try to use my background because you can say your advantage would be you have the degree from Denmark. And when you compare yourself to a Danish student, what is it you have? Well, I have also a culturally different background. You can say Danish students go abroad to study for a semester to gain some cross-cultural experience, for instance, from Indonesia. How is it to do business in Indonesia? How is it to live in Indonesia? To be able to support Danish companies that Indonesian students already have. Plus, they speak the language. So being a company, I, of course, would try to use that advantage to find myself a job. And we see more and more students do that.
All right, that's very encouraging. I'm really looking forward to your session later in this week.
Yeah.
So, right, do you have any final statement to encourage the audience to give Zealand a try?
Yeah, well, my last and closing statement would, of course, be to join for the EHEF on Friday and Saturday. First of all, there will be me, and I will be able to give you a little bit more detailed input. But you will also, like I said, have a chance to meet some of our Indonesian students who, on a more, you can say, one-to-one basis, will be able to tell you a little about how is it to live in Denmark, what is easy, what is difficult, because there's, of course, always things that are perhaps not as easy as other things when you have to adjust to a different life. It is culturally different, and of course that challenge is relatively easy overcome, but still it is there, and being prepared, of course, will give you the chance of actually overcome it relatively quickly. So meet us, join the event on Friday and Saturday, and then let us help you to make your pathway to Zealand and Denmark as easy and smooth as possible.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much. You're absolutely correct. Being prepared is key, and we all at EHEF are here to support people to be better prepared for what's coming ahead. So, all right, thank you very much. That is the end of our Q&A session. Everyone, just a reminder, you can connect with Zealand Institute of Technology and Business through Study in Denmark at zealand.dk and www.zealand.com. That's correct. And for the representative, their representative in Indonesia is Mr. Yunus Caesar at info@eduplanindonesia.com. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice day.
Your time.
Have a nice evening.
Thank you. And see you again on Friday.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you everyone for watching, and see you tomorrow.
you.